Hello, welcome to Miss Peepers Reading Corner. I'm Katrina, aka Miss Peepers. Let's talk about pronouns. Today we're discussing Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe. This book is number 2 on the list of the top 10 most frequently banned books in the United States last year. Now, before we jump into what this book is about, a quick note. Maya Kobabe uses Spivak pronouns, which are air. Now, this is a new set of pronouns to me. It's an unfamiliar set of pronouns. So if when I use them, they sound a little unnatural or a little awkward when I'm saying them, that is the reason. And I want to underscore really clearly that just because something is unfamiliar, that doesn't mean it's wrong or bad in any way. I fully support Maya's pronouns, and I want to make sure that I'm using them correctly. And I want to make sure that anyone watching who uses Spivak pronouns or any other pronouns that don't match the ones that you were assigned at birth, I want you to know that Miss Peepers Reading Corner is a safe place for you. It is an accepting place, and any hesitation or awkwardness that comes from me is about the newness to me and not any kind of disapproval, because I do not disapprove. I fully approve of everyone's right to express their identity in the way that feels best to them. So, what is this book about? This is an autobiographical graphic novel in which the author describes their journey throughout from childhood into young adulthood of figuring out their identity and sexuality and just figuring out how to be yourself. This book is part memoir, part education, and it's a road towards gender euphoria that is so beautifully expressed that while I personally have never experienced this myself, I feel like I have a better understanding of what someone goes through who does have a gender different from that assigned at birth. So why was it banned? I probably don't have to tell you. I mean, this book has LGBTQIA content in it. Also, there's sex in it because, when you start talking about sexual identity, you're also going to talk about sex, right? And when you're talking about gender identity, you're going to talk about human bodies and the various parts therein. So why should you read this book? A book like this one is incredibly helpful, I think, in helping people understand that they are not alone. They're not the only ones wrestling with these ideas, with these thoughts, with these questions. I think that can be incredibly instructive in helping a person think through for themselves what they're feeling, especially in a society that tells people who do not feel that they are the gender that they were assigned at birth that they are wrong. And by the way, you're not wrong. I'll tell you that if you need to hear it. You are not wrong. Trust yourself, trust who you are. No one else can tell you who you are. I'd like to share 2 panels from this book. The art throughout this book is just gorgeous. My deepest emotional relationships have always been with women. Did that mean I was a lesbian? But my sexual fantasies involved 2 male partners. Was I a gay boy trapped in a girl's body? The knowledge of a third option slept like a seed under the soil. I think that's a gorgeous encapsulation of the questioning that people go through when they are not certain of their gender identity yet. And so Kobabe struggles with this idea that maybe they're trans. And they come around to the idea that they are non-binary, but they-them pronouns don't feel right. And eventually they meet someone who uses the Spivak pronouns, and those pronouns just feel right. I'd like to share another panel that appears toward the end of the book after Kobabe finds her pronouns and settles into this idea of being non-binary and of using a different set of pronouns. And it says, as I pondered a pronoun change, I began to think of gender less as a scale and more as a landscape. Some people are born in the mountains, while others are born by the sea. Some people are happy to live in the place they were born, while others must make a journey to reach the climate in which they can flourish and grow. Between the ocean and the mountains is a wild forest. That is where I want to make my home. This book is just so beautifully done. It is heartbreaking at points. It is ecstatic at points. It's a life. And while a lot of this story contains sadness and trauma and the unsettled feeling of not fully knowing who you are. This book is amazing and I highly recommend it. I'm so glad that I read it because it has added to my understanding of the world. And that's one of the best things that you can get from books. So let me know if you have read Genderqueer or anything else by Maya Kobabe. And either way, whatever you do, please keep reading. And I will see you in the next one. What do you recommend? Let me know. Yes? Mrs. Pickles is telling me that it is time for her dinner.